All right, team, buckle up. Welcome to the Valvular Heart Disease Masterclass. We are starting with the blitz. No fluff, just the high-yield facts you need to know fast. Let's go. First question, always. Is the murmur systolic or diastolic?
Systolic is the push. It's when the heart is contracting. That's your aortic stenosis, the valve is tight, blood can't get out, and mitral regurgitation. The valve is leaky, blood's going backward, shouldn't. Diastolic, that's the fill phase, the heart's relaxing, and that's where you'll find aortic regurgitation and mitral stenosis. Got it? Good.
Next, murmur grades. It's a scale of 1 to 6. Grade 1, you can barely hear it. It's like a whisper in a dead silent room. Grade 6, it's a roar. You can hear it with your stethoscope off the patient's chest. Now the high-yield exam triggers. For aortic stenosis, you absolutely have to know this sad triad: syncope, angina, dyspnea. If your patient has any one of those, it's game time. For mitral regurgitation, that magic number is 60%. If the ejection fraction drops below 60, the ventricle is failing. That's your cue. You call the surgeon. And here's the universal decision tree for all of this. Step 1. Are there symptoms? Step 2. You confirm everything with an echocardiogram. And step 3. You decide on the intervention. Simple as that. That is the framework. Blitz complete. Now, before we proceed, we have our mandatory international medical disclaimer. This content is for educational purposes for USMLE and international boards only. It is not medical advice. Always consult official guidelines and a specialist physician for clinical decisions. Okay, Sarah, we've just blasted through the framework, but you and I both know the boards are all about the details, the nuance. They won't just ask you for a simple diagnosis. No, they're going to give you a whole clinical scenario and ask what is the next most appropriate step in management. So let's break down that clinical decision tree piece by piece. Let's start right there at the bedside with the physical exam. How do we, in a real-world scenario, tell the difference between a grade 3 and a grade 4 murmur? That's a fantastic question, Dr. Collins. The key is what we call the thrill threshold. It's really simple. For grades 1, 2, and 3, you hear the murmur, but you feel nothing. The second you can actually feel that vibration, that palpable thrill on the chest wall with your hand, you've crossed the line. It's now a grade 4. Grade 5 is louder still. You can hear it with just the edge of the stethoscope touching the skin. And like you said, grade 6 is so loud you can hear it without the stethoscope, even on the chest. But that brings us to the real question, right? When do we actually intervene and replace the valve? Exactly. And that's where the decision tree gets interesting. It all comes down to two things: symptoms and echo data. For aortic stenosis, it's pretty clear-cut if they have symptoms. If your patient presents with any component of that sad triad, syncope, angina, or dyspnea, that's a class 1 slam-dunk indication for a valve replacement. But here's the real high-yield question for your exams. What if they have severe stenosis but no symptoms? Okay, everyone listen very closely to this. The 2021 ESC guidelines give us the hard data points we need. The first one is jet velocity. If that jet velocity across the aortic valve is greater than 4 meters per second, or if the mean pressure gradient across that valve is greater than 40 millimeters of mercury, you have to seriously consider surgery. And I mean, even in a patient who feels perfectly fine. Why? Because those numbers tell you the stenosis is severe, and the risk of sudden cardiac death is just too high to wait. And you see, for mitral regurgitation, the entire philosophy is different. It's almost flipped. Here, we want to intervene before the heart gets wrecked beyond repair. We don't wait for those severe symptoms. So if that ejection fraction, which, is our best measure of the heart's pumping power, drops below 60%, or if the left ventricle starts to dilate and gets bigger than 40 millimeters at the end of systole, we intervene. The whole goal is to preserve the ventricle's function, not just react after it has already failed. It's a proactive strategy. That is perfectly put, Sarah. This table really highlights that core philosophical difference. For aortic stenosis, it's a pressure overload problem, so we often wait for symptoms or for those numbers to get really extreme. But for mitral regurgitation, it's a volume overload problem. The strategy has to be preemptive. We act on those early signs of cardiac dysfunction to prevent the heart from going down a path it can't come back from. And just to round it out, let's touch on mitral stenosis for a second. Here, the trigger is different yet again. We're looking at the valve area itself. The key numbers: if the patient is symptomatic and that valve area shrinks to less than 1.5 square centimeters, that's your trigger to consider an intervention, often a percutaneous balloon valvuloplasty. So, Sarah, let's put a bow on this. Across all these conditions, what's the single most important high-yield next best step they will be looking for on any exam?
It's always the echocardiogram, Dr. Collins. Always. It is the non-invasive gold standard. It confirms what we hear with our stethoscope, it quantifies how bad the problem is, and it guides every single management decision we've talked about today. So if the boards give you a murmur, your next step is almost always going to be a transthoracic echo.
That's right, deep dive complete. Now, let's make sure this information is burned into your memory for exam day. Sarah, initiate the memory chant. It's time to lock in the final rules.
Systolic is the push.
Diastolic is the fill. ASMR in the light. AR/MS in the dark.
Thrill is a 4.
Final rules locked, Dr. Collins. And with that, you've done it. You have completed the Valvular Heart Disease Masterclass. You've got the framework, you know the clinical triggers, and you have the core rules locked in. You are ready for the boards. Now, go crush your exams.